Hi, I'm here today with author Frank A. Lucas, and he has written a really fascinating book. I am excited to talk with him about it today. And the title is Life is Linear, but Living is Cyclical. Frank, thank you again for joining us. I'm excited to talk about your book with you. Why don't we kick it off by having you just tell us a little bit about the book and what it's about?
Well, the book I've written another couple books, and we were talking at Christmas time a year ago, that maybe 2 years ago now. And my grandchildren are young adults, and they were talking about stuff that they felt. They were all emoting all over, and they happened to look to me and went, "Grandpa, what do you think?" And I said, "You guys got to get that life is binary, and you make two choices. One of them, whatever choice you make, has got two possibilities. One, it turns an expected outcome and everything is good. The other is it's unexpected. And that's where you got to check. And invariably, if you can check and find a reason, you are using intellect to make a choice. If you have to formulate an excuse, then that means you are working out of emotions, and that's a dangerous thing. Because if you're in an emotional state, it basically terminates everything but survival. And so you make survival choices, and they're not always the best in the world. And they said, "Well, it sounds to me like you're pretty black and white." And I said, "Life is black and white. It either is or it isn't, one or the other. Your life, if you think about it, your life has a defined moment, and that's your birth date. After that, the only thing you can count on is closing your eyes that day, and the sun cycles through and turns your catabolic metabolism back on, and your eyes greet the next day. That's when you can do something. The rest of the time, you don't. Did you know your body has two metabolisms?
No, please tell me
Yeah.
more.
Well, yeah, the one that operates all of the senses and your brain and your muscles and all that when the sun is up is called catabolic metabolism. And that's a kind of a destructive thing. So when the sun goes down, your body switches to anabolic metabolism. And that's when the body repairs itself, cleans up the mess it made while it was running all these systems and all of that. And it's controlled by the sun. Women are controlled by the lunar cycle. Your reproductive cycle and the lunar cycle are intrinsically mixed. So it's the the seasons are cyclical. So you got winter, summer, fall, and it's there. There's the cycle. Plants plants are tuned to the solar cycle. The deciduous trees fall asleep when it's winter, and they wake up when the sun's right. Bears hibernate. We're one of the few mammals that don't go to sleep, and we try to function through the winter. Now, we have choice and we have curiosity. So we've changed life a lot. There was a fellow by the name of Kurowski and Booth, and they did a genetic study. So they took the human genome of Homo sapiens and traced it all back to the Paleolithic time frame. And what they discovered is that's when Homo sapiens gene was fixed. From that point on, we have been Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens. And that defines what the body needs. Simple enough. Living things. I wrote this down today. Let me find it. Living is nutrition, interaction, and reproduction. That's the definition of a living thing.
That's a great way to
At
sum
its
it up.
foundation is that. So what's happened since the Paleolithic time frame today is monumental. The name of their study was uh, 21st century lifestyle Stone Age genetics. And it's been used on so many things. It's almost history to dopes like me that spend time thinking about that stuff. But that's where this whole confusion comes in, where this interaction with other people, with other critters, it's gotten huge. This nutrition has gotten confused. People think grocery stores sell food, and they don't. They sell products. The only place you can buy food is in the green produce department and the meat department. The rest of it is a pretty label, and it's designed to attract your attention, sit on the shelf for a period of time, and go. We're having trouble with all of this whole business. It's, and not to sound too masculine, but this reproduction thing is even confused. It's just not making any sense. And there's always this nurture and guidance and I wrote this down too, and I can find it right off. What are the pillars of society? They are faith. Let me see here. I needed glasses. Family, faith, and rule of law. That's what supports all of civilization.
Yeah.
So what are we faced with? We're faced with the three things that we talked about earlier, right? Are now all mixed up into this point where the body can't find the no emotions state. You got fear and anger, sadness and happiness. But those are all emotions. When your body works, it's when it's in balance, and that's in the state of bliss. So now what you've got is this whole crisis of trying to figure out, and I tell you, it's hard being a teenager. I think it's hard to be a young adult anymore because everything is caving in on you, and the things you don't have a rack to hang your hat on. You're just operating like a rudderless ship, and it's the state of this book is a rudder.
That's a great way to put that. It's a rudder. I love that. I'm curious because it sounds like, oh my gosh, the reader is going to get so much good information that really isn't readily available out there that we're not hearing about. I mean, these are things that I don't hear about every day, and that are so important. What finally made you say, okay, well, I know you've been in this industry for a long time, but like, what made you say, okay, I'm actually going to write this down and I'm going to put it out to the public? And
well, this book was I gave it to him this Christmas. So they gave me the round eye, old man, go, peddle your fish.
Yeah.
But when it was all said and done, I wanted this. So I wrote this letter to him and I sent it to my kid first. I have two sons. And I sent it to my sons and said, this is what I want to tell my grandchildren. And they said, don't tell them, write it down. And it's stuff people like you. You're in a category, you are at the perfect stage of life where everything is exciting. Hey, you got conception is the beginning, death is the end. It's it. But in between is childhood, and then young adult, and then childbearing adult, and then non-child. And I'm in elderhood. I'm an old coot, but I got a lot of miles on this frame.
Yeah.
And used to be, we were held in some regard if we managed to survive 48 years old. Why, we were lucky, and in our community, they respected what we had to say. Well, not so much now. The problem is we're living a long, long time past what it was like back when we were living in a village or a settlement, and we cousins and a few outsiders and family.
Yeah.
We're not there anymore.
No.
So it's people. We got a lot of people, and you're stuck with that. There's another chapter in that book that I kind of love, and they also told me everybody's got a little good in them, right?
Mhm.
Well, that isn't true. I do not believe that with all my heart. I think you can read in the book of Genesis, God created the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So in the first three chapters of Genesis tells you there's evil people out there, and so it ends up going on a bell curve, right? And it's A, B, C, C, D, F. Well, here you got evil on one side and good on the other. And I think a fifth of that group is good right to the very heart of themselves. But on the bell curve, there's the equal amount that are evil to the core. And the battle lies in that top 60%. And therein lies the competition that is described in Genesis. Some people are ignorant and willing to learn. Other people think they know better, and that's where you go from there. You want to call it stupid, but it isn't stupid. It's stubborn. It's something. Or they've been manipulated or propagandized into having a closed mind.
Hmm. Yeah, you're so right. Maintaining an open mind is such a gift to ourselves, and it sounds like your book will really help people have an open mind reading this book and learning new things. I'm curious if there's anything else that you might be able to share with us about the book, something that you really enjoy or you think readers will be surprised by or will really enjoy learning about.
I think each. Oh, I was trying to remember when it was reviewed by the literary agent. She said something really nice about me, and it had everything to do with soul. What she said is it's a collection of wisdom that provides the rudder that's going to get you through troubled times. And what I love most about it, you were asking me why I decided to be a writer, and we haven't got to it yet. So we'll go back to that. I had a guy one time, and he's been a long time client. And he said, I finished, and he brought a guy in, and he had more trouble and woes than anybody ought to have. And when we got done, we dismissed that guy, and Stan Wallenick is his name. He said, you're not getting any younger. You ought to write this stuff down. Well, spoken word's ephemeral. This thing is going to go away the minute the computer thing breaks, right?
Right.
But if you got a book, it's permanent. And I suppose I took Stan's advice to heart and tried to make some of the stuff I believe permanent.
I love that. And I love that you've chosen to share all of this. You just sound like someone that I could sit and talk to for hours because I would learn so much. And so I want to encourage everyone to go out and grab this. I think that readers will absolutely love this. And I love how that reviewer described it as a rudder, because we all go through those troubled times, and to have a rudder is a really good idea if we want to get where we're going.
Here's the point. You don't have to be with me to talk to me. I try to talk to you from my books.
Yes.
I hope you hear them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So get by a fireplace and pull up a blanket and sit down and read a book, because it'll never hurt you.
Yes. Let me tell everyone again the book title. The book title is Life is Linear, but Living is Cyclical. Again, the author is Frank A. Lucas, who we've been talking with the past several minutes. And you can get this book at most places where books are sold online. This includes Amazon and Barnes and Noble and Apple iTunes. If you are an instant download kind of person, you can get it as an ebook or order it as an actual physical book, which I am preference to, but whatever your preference is, I really encourage you to grab this book. I think you are going to learn so much and have such a great time reading it. Frank, thank you again for doing this. I really appreciate it. I've learned so much. Thank you for sharing. And your book, that sounds absolutely fantastic.
Good. Did we have fun?
I think I had fun. Did you have fun, Frank?
I did. You made me
Good
laugh.
deal.